Okay, so today's topic I want to talk about is should you supercharge your car? Why I supercharged it? Is it reliable? I've been getting a lot of questions about this, and a lot of people just have a decision already made in their head that suddenly putting boost on an engine is automatically not reliable. For one, I daily drive my car. I don't have any other cars. And I don't want any other cars. What's the point of getting a nice car, supercharging it, and then only driving it for 1 hour a week? I just think it's pointless. Second is, let's talk about the reliability on the S65 engine. So this engine has issues where you don't even have to mod the car, and the number one reason of the engine failure on this car has nothing, you don't even have to be supercharged. It's the rod bearing failures that's happening, which is a very small percentage. I wouldn't even call it a 1%, probably even less. It is recommended you do the upgrade. I just got mine done, which I have another video you can check on my channel about the results. But so the reliability on this car, once you put the blower on, is nothing changes. It's basically the same car. The issues that you would have from just driving the car regular without having the supercharger, it's going to be a couple of things. It's going to be your throttle actuators. They're going to go bad no matter what. They usually go bad around 60,000 miles. I've already had to replace both of mine. That had nothing to do with the supercharger. I wasn't even supercharged at the time. Actually, I was. It was right when I got the supercharger. But totally unrelated to installing it. That's just something that goes bad with the gears. So that's one issue. The next issue would be as I said, the rod bearings. That'd be your biggest issue of blowing. You'd blow the engine because of that weak point. In the 08 to 2011, you had a different bearing, and then in the LCI, they changed the bearing on these cars. So my bearings, when I pulled them, they were fine. Again, you won't know that until you pull the bearings. So I swapped those out to be safe. Anyone that supercharges a car, I recommend do it, because it's basically a crapshoot at that point. You're not gonna know. You're not gonna know what's going on with it until they do that. So again, if I had a daily driver and I had a boring ass car, like, you can't do this every day. It's not fun. Like, you get your supercharge in the car just to do this. Okay, going off of some other stuff. So annoying as fuck. So the reliability, the car has been completely the same as any stock car would be. The supercharger doesn't really. I mean, yeah, it does stress the engine, but these kits this kit I have specifically has been installed on so many cars, and I did my research before I checked the failures on all of them, and it was always spun bearing, blew the motor because of spun bearing. So the issue was related to something that was already defective that was an issue with the engine. And when you're adding the supercharger on something that was already weak, or something that was going to a bearing that was already weak and designed wrong, you're supercharging, you're just increasing the chance of blowing the engine. So from that standpoint, yeah, you're gonna see failures due to, you could say, supercharging. A lot of people have been talking about, oh, now we replaced the rod bearing, now you have the main bearing. I've only seen a couple of those on the forums. I talked to the master tech at SSR Performance. He said specifically it's not an issue. He hasn't seen any motors with that issue. So it's just people starting drama over nothing. People freaking out all of a sudden because, oh, now we have, I switched my rod bearing, now I have the main bearing. So, that's a whole nother issue that people are speculating, in my opinion. The one issue I would say that would affect the car versus overstock is the heating. When you're supercharged, you're generating a lot more power. A lot more power is going to give you a lot more heat. that, we're at 10 miles an hour. Worth it. So, so I was talking about heating. So in the summer, you're going to see hotter engine temps, but that doesn't really affect. I didn't go into limp mode or anything. We didn't have any cooling, or I didn't have any issues personally with my car. I do know for a fact if you're going to track, and you do want to track this car, and you're thinking of, is this, I'm doing it, I'm going to get the supercharger just for tracking, I'd advise against it. I would say just do the rod bearing and just do full bolt-on with tune. Keep it like that. If you don't want to have heating problems at the track, that's going to put you into limp mode. So that would be the number one concern I'd have, is the heating if you're going to track the car. But for a street car, the 625 kit is perfect. I see people with the 650 kit, they're complaining about throwing out. They're complaining about O2 sensors. They're failing. So it's up to you on that. Do your own research on the 650, but the 625, just an all-around good street. Just an amazing kit for the street. It's just like, it's the most fun to have. It does get you in trouble. You have to be careful because before you know it, you're going to be going way too fast. So that'd be the only concern there. But besides that, I daily drive it. It's super reliable. I get better miles per gallon on highway driving when I'm not gunning it. Right now I'm sitting at 20 miles a gallon. I knew before I was supercharged I was at 14. I mean, depends how you drive the car, but super solid. Just feels so good. The boost is amazing. I highly recommend it. A lot of people are spending $2,000-$3,000 on carbon fiber intakes, and then carbon fiber, blah blah blah, this and that. Just save the money and just supercharge. Just keep the car stock and just supercharge it. That's it. That's all you have to do, and you'll have 10 times more fun, and it's totally worth it. I would supercharge it. If I got this car all over again, first thing I would do is supercharge it. That is the first thing I did to this car, besides a little dash cam, radar, which I already had, just little stuff like that. But 100% worth it. Reliability, no problem there. Besides the heating issue, if you are going to run the car hard and track it, that's where you're going to see your issue. So I say go for it. And you don't really have anything to worry about if you do your rod bearing maintenance. That would be the only concern that I would have on the supercharging system. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you have any comments or questions about the supercharging kit, or you're concerned about it, just drop a comment below. I'll go ahead and answer it for you. But definitely worth it. And that's today's video. So see you guys later.